If you're going to move forward in your life, you have to recognize and understand emotions in yourself and others. It's very difficult to notice aspects of ourselves that cause problems and keep us from reaching our full potential if we can't see ourselves clearly. This is why we're here. This is Twaambo, and you're listening to Tea Time with Twaambo. Let's begin. It is another zinging episode of Tea Time with Twaambo. Thank you for tuning in yet again. Whether you're listening from Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, Spotify, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about rediscovering who you are and self-love. Now, before you think I'm going to jump in and simply say, love yourself, I'd like to ask a few questions, as we usually do in these sessions. So, question number 1. What is playing in your mind when you sit in silence all by yourself? What are the voices telling you? You're probably like, Twaambo, hold on a minute. Sitting in silence all by myself? That never happens. Well, you see, my friend, that is a big problem. So I'm going to jump right in and let you know 4 things that are signs that you need to work on your self-love. So first of all, you cannot sit in silence by yourself. That's a big one. You can't be in your own company for more than 10 minutes before you're looking for ways to be entertained. You're writing everybody messages on WhatsApp or Telegram. You're scrolling through social media. You put on the TV. You switched on the radio. Sitting with your own thoughts is impossible. That's a huge sign that you need to work on your self-love. Another sign is when where you are in life is never good enough. Where you are is not good enough. Where you've been is not good enough. You don't even know where you're going. There's nothing pleasurable about your life now. You are forever, ambitious, excruciatingly ambitious, and wanting to be in the future. You're never in the present. You do not love yourself enough to accept and say, this is where I am. I know I have ambitions. I'm not saying, don't want good things for yourself in the future, but where you are is never, ever good enough. You need to love yourself where you are, and this is a huge sign that you need to work on your self-love. Number 3, you put pressure on other people because you can't stand their quote-unquote incompleteness, simply because you are deeply dissatisfied with yourself. So you know how you're always wanting everybody else to do better. He can do better, she can do better. But you're putting pressure on them because the person that you really are disappointed with is yourself. Huge sign you need to work on your self-love. Number 4, spending a few days or weeks out of a relationship has you running into the arms of just anybody. And when I say anybody, I'm talking about anybody. Now, listen to me and listen to me well. A relationship ending for whatever reason is not easy. You go from having somebody to speak to and to hug on and to share meals with to being alone again, right? Nobody's calling you. Nobody gets your silly jokes. Being alone can be hard and lonely. I get it. But this then ties back into you not being able to be in your own company for 10 minutes before you're looking for people, looking for somebody to jump in a relationship with. So, before I just jump in and say, hey, love yourself, I asked, what's playing in your mind when you sit in silence all by yourself? It's time for you to pay attention. You know what happens for some people? Sometimes they hear the voice of their father calling them stupid and stubborn. And some people hear the voice of their mother calling them fat. Sometimes it's the voice of those hateful little brats from middle school that called you names. Or that first boyfriend that you loved with all your heart that threw your dreams in your face as he threw his little tantrums. Maybe it's your own voice finding reasons why they are right? Like your own voice pushing all of these things that they said to you and telling you, actually they were right. So this may sound like something that goes something like this. My relationship just ended because I'm fat, I'm stupid, just like mom and dad said. Or I haven't achieved my dreams because Gary must have been right. I'll never amount to anything. Stupid, isn't it? Weird, isn't it? Hard, isn't it? Perhaps you're having difficulty living with yourself because of what people said to you in the past, or because you've made some mistakes in the past. And maybe you don't like where you are and you're feeling like a fraud, right? You don't like your life. You don't like where you are. How can you get over this? How can you switch this around? How can you stop those little voices? How can you be more comfortable with yourself? What must you do? So there's a little exercise that I've tried that's helped me, and I'm hoping that it can help you. And I'll let you know that sometimes you don't, not sometimes, it's not something that you just do once and everything's done. It's something that you have to do time and time again, as your life goes on. Maybe every 6 months, maybe every year, maybe every 5 years, just whenever you remember. How about you reintroduce yourself? So you go to a cafe, or you make a nice cup of tea at home. I recommend rooibos tea. That's really, really good. And you introduce yourself. You meet yourself again. And what would this look like? So let's say Marty is carrying out this exercise, right? Marty would sit there and say to Marty themselves, "Hi, I'm Marty. It's nice to meet you here and now. We've been together all our lives, and right now I'm struggling with loving myself, and I'll tell you why." So if you want at this point, you can close your eyes and imagine that you're talking to yourself. And sometimes the you, like you at 5 years old, or you at 17, or you at 23, sometimes that comes up in your imagination, and that's okay. It might be you right now, but the person that comes up may be the person that's needing to hear this right at that moment. So I'll go back to Marty. So Marty says, "Hi, I'm Marty. It's nice to meet you here and now. We've been together all our lives, and right now I'm struggling with loving myself, and I'll tell you why. I've been feeling lost and disconnected from the family because I haven't," and then you would say why. Or, "I've lost hope of having a family because I'm not sure if I know what I need to do to be in a successful relationship. And to be honest, I'm too lazy to do the work that needs to be done to stay in a good relationship." Or, "I'm afraid to change careers because I feel like it's too late. I'm afraid to have children because having children looks painful and children are just a pain in the butt." Or, "Most of all, I believe the hurtful things people said to me in the past. I believed them because they were my parents, so it must have been true. Or they were my friends, so of course it was true. Or he was the love of my life, so it must have ended because those bad things he said about me are the reason that things ended." So you can go ahead and mention all of these things. And then you can end that by saying, or Marty would say, "But Marty, I'm here now because we have to change things, because we cannot go on like this. Marty, I'm going to love on you so hard, people will have to love you better than I do to have you. Marty, my love for you will be so accepting and so loving of your little quirks. Not twerks, you can twerk too, but quirks. We will have so much fun together, grow together, and make it through together." And you can finish it off however you like, but it's time for you to love yourself again. And sometimes to do that, you have to settle things with the old you so that the you that's here and now can love themselves fully. This was Tea Time with Twaambo. I really hope that this episode was helpful. I really hope that you can love yourself here and now, that you can learn to sit with yourself, that you can learn to silence those voices in your head that have been lying to you all of this time. It's time for you to make a change, and it's time for life to continue in the most fantastic way possible. And it'll start with you loving yourself. Loving yourself is not just bubble baths and bath bombs and buying yourself designer stuff. Loving yourself is loving all of you fully, in the past and in the now, so that the future can be totally fantastic and amazing. Love you guys. Don't forget to share. See you, or you will hear me next week. That's what I actually meant to say. This has been Tea Time with Twaambo. Thank you.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.